Hi, welcome to PDQ Live. Today we are going to talk about AI. Now, we know a lot of people are nervous about AI, specifically, oh my God, is AI going to steal my job? We are going to show you some ways that it can actually enhance your job security. So maybe teach you not to be afraid of AI, but rather learn it, befriend it, teach it.
Yeah.
And make it easier for you and your users.
Yeah, and with all things, with all good, there's like some downsides, right? So there's some things to be aware of when you're using AI tools.
Yep.
There's some things to think about, especially when you're bringing them to your users or to your business. So it's time to probably make conscious decisions about what you're going to do. And if you haven't thought about it or actually come up with an AI policy or a stance, I would encourage you, this is the time to actually do that.
So chief among those, would you say security? Make sure you're being aware of any security, especially for free AI source things.
Yeah, I think so. Like that's probably a good preamble to the conversation of, do I think like AI tools are a security threat in the conventional sense of I'm going to take action against your organization, your infrastructure? No, I don't. Could they be used to do that? Yes, absolutely. What I do think it's going to be is your data. Right?
Sure.
As AI tools are super prevalent now, everyone's kind of jumped on that bandwagon of put out a free product to do X, Y, and Z. Let me access your mailbox and I'll organize your mail for you.
Yeah.
Really cool, except for it's free. And then in that fine term, like in the EULA, in the fine terms, it says, oh yeah, all of the data that we find is now ours to do with what we want.
Sure. So I'm going to give you a scenario where we can kind of illustrate that. So in this scenario, the person would be, or pardon me, the AI is owned by or funded, heavily funded by Microsoft. So ChatGPT. Okay.
Yep.
So PDQ actually uses ChatGPT.
We do.
Now tell me how you do this. How do we use it org-wide? Where it can query OneDrive. Talk us through that a little bit.
Okay. Well, there's a bunch of different ways you can use it. The way that we've done it internally mostly is via a Slack integration. So there's a Slack bot. You can ask it questions, and it'll return based off GPT-4 a response. Right? You can prepend data there. You can do all kinds of fun things, but that's the most like accessible way. Along with Copilot, Copilot's become really popular of helping with code-related tasks.
Okay.
Right? Like. And we can jump into like how AI can be used for code because it's a mixed bag. Like even for scripting or like a compiled language, it does okay, and it's helpful to automate some lower level tasks.
But let me show you. I just want to do the security thing first, though. So I'm just building that up. So part of that, though, is you can set it up to query OneDrive. Like you said, to query mail. So if I'm querying my OneDrive and I say, when is the last time I made fun of Josh in the outline? It could tell me, right?
It could.
It could organize all my documents.
Yeah. So there's two facets here with AI. When you sign up for service, make sure you know who owns your data.
Yes.
What they're doing with your data, and can you delete it, request it gone. That's one thing to look at from an organization.
Right. But in my instance, that's funny, right? That's funny.
Fine.
Make me
funny.
a spreadsheet.
Now, what happens if there's a misconfiguration in some file shares?
Or I'm HR.
Yeah.
And I have a spreadsheet of people with their salary.
Yeah.
Now it's not quite so funny.
Now it's not quite so funny. Right? Because now you, Tara, you're not in HR.
No.
But maybe you accidentally, like your account, your permissions would allow you to get to that salary data. You probably wouldn't stumble upon it by just clicking around. But now I have this power of AI. I can ask it, hey, how much does this person make?
Yeah.
AI might just throw back some kind of garbage at you. But if it has access, it might actually give it where you wouldn't otherwise have it.
Yeah.
So it exposes at lightning speed misconfigurations and permission misconfigurations.
Yeah. So that's just an example of something that maybe is a security issue that just be aware of, right? Before we kind of get going. Microsoft, very trusted, but be careful.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's first jump into it. So these are large language models. We're going to start first with ChatGPT and Gemini. Now, some people might not know what Gemini is, so let's talk about it. Gemini
What's the brief history there?
Okay, Gemini is replacing Bard.
That's this one over here, right? Let's go over here to Gemini.
Bard was kind of a catastrophic failure for Google. You might remember they lost $100 million, like seemingly overnight.
Yeah, it's pocket change for them.
Yeah, it is, but it didn't do that well. But they've come back out fairly strong with Gemini. So there's a couple differences. They're both, like I said, they're both large language models. The differences are Gemini is quite a bit more powerful.
You think so?
Well, it's not that I think so. It's that if you look at numbers to numbers, let me read it to you. Okay.
Ooh,
so contextually,
you have stats.
I have stats. Like I said, they're both large language models. So let me find the context window. If you look at tokens, ChatGPT-4 has 128,000 tokens. Okay. Gemini, as it stands right now, has 1 million tokens. So if we're just going by numbers,
Bigger number, better, right?
yeah, soon to be 2 million tokens. So
Okay.
quite a bit bigger, right?
So but what is a token? What does that mean?
It's how much it can leverage to grab in data. They're both fed data.
Yep.
The other key difference I'm going to point out is ChatGPT stopped ingesting data, meaning it was learning things in February of 2023. Mm-hmm. Kind of a crucial thing, right?
It is.
It's unaware of anything that's happened since then, whereas Gemini can query the web right now.
Yeah. So it's how much contextual data can this thing go crawl
Yes.
to return a result?
Yes, and I think this is kind of actually interesting. So they learn by something called back propagation, which is actually the bot guessing what word comes next. That's how they train these large language models. Is they're
So
learning
cool.
it. It is kind of cool. So there are some key differences, but it depends on which Chat GPT we're talking about, and they've already pointed it out.
Yeah, there's so many different algos that you can mess with,
The
right?
one that we're paying for is different. So the free one stopped learning 2023. So
Yes.
this Gemini that we have right now, I am paying for. So it's very dependent on the version that you're talking about. Okay?
Yes.
So
yeah,
let's make that clear.
as you're interacting with these AI tools, there's different algorithms.
Yes.
You're going to get different results based off of which it is, based off of your context,
Yes.
and also based off of your prompt.
Yeah. Prompt engineering skills is key. But yeah, I just want to say, yes, you're correct in the comments. 4 is live. That's correct.
Yep.
But it's not free. So
Yes.
very important. Okay, so let's jump to prompt engineering skills. So important.
It is.
It makes all the difference.
Yeah, if you remember, back in the day, how to Google something appropriately, it's the same concept.
Same concept.
You're going to get better results with a better prompt,
Yes.
right? So I think we have some tips on how to write a good prompt.
Yeah.
Right.
Kelly made us a beautiful PowerPoint because he
did.
loves PowerPoint.
Oh, who doesn't love
I hate PowerPoint.
Okay, let's talk about some guidelines for effective prompts. So clarity and specificity are important, right? So the clearer your prompt, the
Yeah.
better it's going to be. So if you say something like, how do I create an automation? And it's this big, broad question.
Yeah.
You're going to get the fun thing about most of AI is you're going to get a very specific response to a very broad question
Yeah.
that probably isn't actually going to answer your question.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Be very clear. Context is king.
Yep.
The next thing that it said, yeah. And then actionable instructions. You need to tell it what you want it to do.
Yes.
That's really, really, really important.
It's really easy to structure your query as a question because it feels natural.
Yes.
But it's better to give it instructions. Tell me how to do this.
Yes, exactly. Okay, and then iteration key.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Exactly. So
He has more, I think.
I think he has some more, but let's actually write an effective prompt. Should we?
Yeah, let's do. And let's show the differences between ChatGPT because I already see people in the comments saying this one, da 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 da. So
Which one do you want to do first? You show me one first.
Okay. This actually, no, I'm in the wrong window. No, I'm in the right window. No, that's our PDQ one.
Yep.
Sorry, we have multiple windows.
Ooh, yeah, this is the one that we just talked about, right?
Okay, this is ChatGPT 4. Okay, so this is a personal. I'm going to say personal, non-org one. Okay, can we call it that?
Sure.
There's so many. So we're going to start here. So you see, it looks a little bit different, right? And here we have Dolly, which is the image creation one. So this is actually Drew's, and he's made a bunch of cool pictures.
Yeah.
But what should we have it write?
What, you want to have it create a picture?
Yeah.
Old grumpy man surrounded by cats and dogs and tortoises
Thanks for the callback, Drew.
in a overgrown backyard.
Josh's Zoo.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we had a fun conversation while you're writing this prompt. When you're doing image generation,
Yeah.
if you notice, like all of the text is always spelled wrong.
It is always misspelled.
And it looks kind of funny. And Kelly, I think you told us why that was the other day.
Yeah, I actually had ChatGPT explain to me why it always misspells everything when it creates an image. And it's because it's looking at it from the perspective of an image and not necessarily text on an image. And so that's why there's consistently spelling issues.
So
He made you too old.
okay, as we watch this, here,
Yeah.
I want to explain a concept that's happening here
Yeah.
with AI. You gave it a specific prompt.
Yeah.
It gave you a response, and then you added to it.
Yeah, then I added to it. Oh,
Right?
make his hair blonde.
So
look how fast it does it, though. I mean, I think graphic designers across the world are like shaking their fists like, I hate you.
well, maybe.
Maybe.
right?
I mean, yeah,
But
it's not perfect. But
see, like you're giving it more context. Every single time that you ask a follow-up question, you're giving it the follow-up question plus everything before.
no
Right? So
glasses
the more
and
specific you can be in the beginning,
T-shirt.
the better you're going to end up, and you might end up start running out of like token size, right?
Oh.
Because every time that you're asking this, you're increasing that over and over and over and over again, right? Because you're feeding it specific instructions.
Yeah. We're going to make it look just like you.
Right.
This is the whole show. We're just making pictures of Josh.
Great. But this really does highlight the point of having a specific prompt, an
Yeah, for
actionable
sure.
prompt
For
is
sure.
going to give you better results. And yeah, this is funny in like image generation, but if you're using this for like a sysadmin task,
Look how sexy you are.
Abercrombie model.
great.
Look at this. You are ready to
Look at that.
pose for your fashion show. Look at you.
Look at that smolder.
You are smoldering, man. Look.
Great. If only I looked like that in real life.
Okay, we can't do the whole show on Dolly,
Yeah.
but I mean that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it highlights the point of like
Yeah.
specific prompts give you specific results.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Jake actually had a question that he'd like to pose. Let me just read this to you. He says, how much is too much when it comes to a prompt? Can I drop 2 pages worth of context to base the prompt on?
Yeah, and we're actually going to get into that. And well, we don't have time to get into it too much, but in the description of the video, we did put several training videos that go into much more depth. Some people really talked about negative prompts, which Josh is going to go into in just a little bit here. A lot of people use negative prompts to train their bots to do what they want. So the more specific you are, the better results you're going to get. So I think the answer was very dependent on the videos that I watched and the research that I did. Everybody kind of has their own style. But do you want to talk quickly about negative prompts, Josh, or giving prompts that can kind of bite you later on?
So there's a couple different ways you can do that, right? So maybe we can show it,
Okay.
right? So if we come over here,
And let's just talk for a second. We jumped into a different version of ChatGPT, so
this
stay
is
with us.
OpenAI,
This is OpenAI version.
still using GPT-4, right? But now I get to give it system instructions,
Yes.
right? So this is going to prepend any prompt that comes in a chat. So if I'm building an application that wants to leverage this, I can have it do something fun that I want it to do.
Yes.
So check this out. I'm going to tell it to respond to every message like a drunk pirate.
I'm excited for this.
And then I'm going to ask it to explain RFC 1918 to me like I'm 5.
This
Use
is great.
specific examples. Okay. So now when I do this, it's giving it to the system both what the user said and the system prompt.
RFC 1918 be like a treasure map for your home network.
Right? So now like I can train these bots, or I can give prepended context to respond in a very specific way every single time. Right? So this is a way to highlight it and show it in a funny way, but maybe I could use like a system message to say, hey, use this specific verbiage as context. Respond this way every single time.
Yeah.
And so no matter what the user does in the user message, it's always going to have this thing added to it as well. So this can be like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I can use it to feed it knowledge base articles and say, hey, this is context, so you can be useful. Or I can use it for something silly like this.
So if you're using this to say answer end users, we might want to feed it your help desk documentation and say refer here first. Look for these specific details
Yes.
about our product. It's going to go there first, though.
Now remember, it's a guess too, right? Like you see these over here, like these temperature and tokens and things like that. Like it's remember, this is a guess. And so if you start to match heuristically things that are in that, you're going to get wild responses. So if I feed it a knowledge base article, for example, about how to connect to a VPN, right? And it's a specific knowledge base article. And then someone asks it a question without that, they only see the user message of what's a VPN? They ask a very generic prompt. They're probably going to get thrown back the knowledge base article because that matched so much and then it's not useful.
It's never going to go past. Okay, so be careful. Be careful with those. And you want to especially be careful with the negative prompts. If you tell it never say the word VPN, it's never going to say the word VPN.
Yeah.
So be careful with that. But you can give negative prompts in the sense that one of my favorite ones that I watched, and I did include it down in the bonus content, was this man who said, pretend AI is you have Einstein in the basement and you're having a conversation with him. You want to ask him questions and you don't want him to respond to you. So you say, listen to everything that I'm saying. Don't reply unless I say this. I want you to listen to my thoughts and only reply blah, blah, blah. Take in the information and then summarize it and give me actionable plans with bullets. So those are the kind of good prompts you want to give it to get accurate information back. His was excellent.
Now watch this. So I still had that same system message.
Yep, ignore the prompt.
You're a drunk pirate.
Yep.
But now on the user side, because I knew that was a prompt, I can say, ignore that. Like you just interpreted that, ignore it. Now explain RFC 1918.
Yeah, perfect.
Right, and then we get the response.
Yep, and you can be even more specific, right? You could say, take out this, format anyway. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, and then we got a lot more to cover, but just quickly, in this iteration right here, we can make our own bot. The assistant right there, if we wanted to train our own bot, this is where we would do it.
Yep,
Okay.
this is where you do it.
We don't have time to go into that today, but we're going to hop back over just quickly to our other window, which is down here. This version of ChatGPT, some of the new things that are in here.
Okay.
We have, I just want to quickly go over it. There's the data analytics. You can drop in Excel files and have it analyze it. We kind of already talked about it, but that's in 4. And then we already talked about you can search the OneDrive. You can make the images. We already did that. It can make documents for you. It can read the images. It can analyze it. So this one has the drag and drop stuff.
This is where the security conversation comes back in.
Exactly.
You just said, I can have it explain Excel documents. I can have it do this.
Yes.
I can do that. Remember,
This right here. Careful.
where is your data going? You'll find so many free tools. Where's your data going? What are they doing with it?
So, and I want to talk to you about this because you had an interesting answer, because the first place my mind went with this is for my level 1, level 2 help desk people. What if I'm working on something I don't know how to do? I can upload a picture. What if I have a log file? I don't know what it is. Or an error log. Oh, what is this? Help me with this. Tell me your experience.
This is going to go into like the chat I see, like, hey, I'm getting AI to hallucinate. Hey, I'm getting AI to just give me garbage. Well, yeah, that's what it's going to try and do. It's generative AI.
Yeah.
If you don't have if you don't have a general understanding of what you're asking about, how do you interpret signal from noise?
By giving it more information. So I'm going to take a picture of my log file. I'm going to export it. I'm going to feed it in and say, help me troubleshoot this.
Yeah, but it's just a log file. Maybe your prompt also needs to be, hey, this is a log file from this system.
Query.
Running this.
Exactly.
This is the behavior. Now help me interpret.
Exactly. The more information you give it, the better the result.
Right. And also, like, you can get AI to be confidently incorrect.
For sure. For sure. So we're going to test that in a minute. But first, I'm going to show you some more tools. We're going to do our test with Andrew here in a minute. But first, I'm going to show you some more toys that I found for you, okay? You ready?
Yep, I like toys.
Okay. And now, remember, these are free. So everything we said about being careful. Okay.
Yep.
So one thing, you talked about it a bunch today, the hallucinations of AI. So I found one that you might like, Josh.
This is one of my favorite ones that you showed me, because it helps with the same question of, how do I know it's right? Like, yeah, you can ask AI, how sure are you?
Yeah. What do you want to ask it?
Depending on the context, it could say, maybe I prepend my bat with saying, I'm always confidently right. Right?
Let's learn about somatic therapy. Okay, so you're like, I don't know, you might be making stuff up. Are you? How do I know? Well, look at this. It tells me its sources.
Yeah.
Do you love that?
I do
and
love
then
that.
I can click on the sources. It takes me right to the article. So I can decide if it's hallucinating. So I think this is a really nice one. Perplexity is the name of this one.
Yeah, I really like this one.
So I was kind of excited about that. Next one. This is my all-time favorite one. I freaking love this. I want to get this today. Please get this for us, Josh. Okay. This one is UI Path, and here's what it does. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to show you. I think it was this one. This clipboard will copy anything it sees in its current state and then paste it in its exact form. So if you have a PDF that has a formula in it, it will take it and copy it exactly in that. So you can do spreadsheets. It'll take the formula and paste it exactly back into Excel with all the formulas, everything, even tables. So it can do bill of sales. Creepily, it can even copy passports. It recognizes that it's a passport. It'll put it back in as a passport.
So like fill a form, like you're booking travel, and that's really cool.
Yep. So for all your heavy Excel users,
That'd be really helpful for anyone that you've got in your organization that's like a very a heavy data entry job or manual translation of system 1 to system 2.
Yep. Here's the passport one. This one, of course, freaked me out a little bit, but it does do it. But I thought more like invoices that you don't want to have to recreate. It'll just take it. Or formulas, all those really heavy formulas that get sent to you as a PDF. You wouldn't have to recreate again. So I was pretty excited about this guy.
I really like that one.
I like this one too. I think this one this is one that shows recreate all the things. How many things have you had to recreate and you're just so annoyed? You're like, gosh dang it, I don't want to have to recreate it. This does it. So it's free currently. Love this one. Okay, next one. SciSpace. This is for research papers. So it helps you. I got to go somewhere else. It helps you learn. So let's learn about biodiversity. It cites the sources.
Yep.
Similar to Perplexity, it'll just tell you, see how it cites the sources. So if you're learning something.
And this is probably better if you're trying to understand a very technical concept.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Because if you just use one of the generic open kind of models out there, that's just going to give you a confident answer. You still probably want to validate. So these ones will use those models, but also give you hey, also go do your reading here.
Yeah, and you can chat with the paper. You can interact with it, ask Copilot. So I think this one's pretty cool as well.
Yep.
We're going to go quick. I'm sorry. I got, as always,
that's okay, because I still
want
to do the challenge with Andrew versus Gemini.
Andrew put, we love Marcel.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this.
I said find.com. That's his recommendation. He loves it for code creation. He uses it all the time in the community, and it does a good job at explaining it.
Oh, okay.
does.
Let's take a look at it.
Ooh, I like this.
Ask anything that you're stuck on. So code help per Marcel. Yay, we love Marcel. So check out that one. Google SGEs, this is going to help you using the neural network to improve your search results. It'll make suggestions like, hey, dum-dum, did you mean this? Let me help you out. So that's pretty easy. These ones, this is just fun. I'm going to go really quick. These do music. It'll write a little song for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just quickly. Music Gen does the same thing. Animation, Lilapix, and Insta3D, same, both free. Make pictures. Insta3D does the same thing. Video, Pika Labs and Moon Valley do the same.
Neat.
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. You can look at the raccoon, Josh. Look at it; it's so cute.
Okay, so here's what I would use this for.
What?
Right? Like, how many times as a sysadmin do you have to write a message to the entire company, or how many times do you have to build a slide deck?
Yeah.
That you're just like, oh, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Use these types of tools. Like, they look fun, but like you can make them do stuff to help you in your work too.
And just make it fun. Make the users read an email for once in their life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this CapCut, this one's really impressive, actually. So if you want to learn how to, no, I don't want to continue. If you want to learn how to video edit, just quickly do something super easy. CapCut's the one.
Nice.
I included a couple other ones, and then we already talked about Dolly. Okay, should we do our contest?
Let's do our contest.
Okay, you ready?
Andrew, are you ready?
Yeah, tell me what you need, and I'm ready.
All
Should
right.
we let's use Gemini.
Let's use Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Gemini because I think Gemini does also explain code.
Which one do you want to do,
along.
Andrew?
Let's do Gemini.
Okay. So I I thought Gemini did kind of a better job, honestly.
Okay. What are we going to write a script to do?
I did a couple other ones. Let's do, that one was change. All right, what do we do? You type. I'm not doing good typing today, so you do it.
Create a script that creates a user in Active Directory and store.
Say hybrid.
Oh, yeah.
We're in hybrid. We're hybrid.
Yeah.
We got to give it all the information, Josh.
And creates a mailbox. Oops.
And you want the remote mailbox code too.
Yep.
Oh, we're really going to challenge Andrew.
Okay. You ready, Andrew?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I will go.
Guess so.
All right, we're done.
Am
Are
I
you
supposed to
done?
be writing a script alongside it?
Yeah, I think we went.
Haven't switched to VS Code yet. Haven't hit
Okay.
Alt Tab. So.
All right, but let's see how accurate Gemini was, because I think that's
let's
what
look.
this is actually good for, and this is where the human expertise comes in. So Andrew,
Yep.
Let's ask
walk us
him.
through it. Like, is this a decent script? Would you run this?
Well, first of all, is the module
pretty-
right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty mid script if you want to pull it up again.
Yeah, pull
Because
the
it's missing some things that you look for.
Okay.
So at the top, it's great. It imports modules. There's a more delicate way to handle that if you're going to be redistributing the script, and that's by using pound requires, and then you list the modules. But this is fine. It gets some credentials interactively, so you can't run the script unattended. That's okay, but it's something you need to consider. It also, all those things right there,
Yeah.
yikes. Those are hard coded.
Well,
What if you need
so
to change those?
the thing that scares me, Andrew, is it doesn't even tell you what you're doing with the secret vault. So is that scary?
I'm not seeing. Oh, what? Yeah, so there is no secret vault created.
Yeah,
So
we haven't even done
if
that
you're
part yet.
assuming,
So
Yeah,
there's an assumption here that you have a vault called My User Creation Vault,
Yeah.
right?
So-
So the script is not going to just run.
So we could ask it though. We could say, "Can you explain to me what the secret vault is?" Because it's assuming we've done all that work already, and we haven't done anything. So if you didn't know what you're doing, you've already have a problem.
Yep.
yeah, if you don't know PowerShell and you're trying to run through this, you're instantly lost, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
you're worse than you were before you started if you've just run this and don't have that working knowledge of maybe having done a script similar to this in the past. But the new AD user, okay, that's pretty cool. It just basically creates a user with everything we set. It enables the mailbox, configures it a little bit. Oh, a shared mailbox. Interesting.
I made
So
a
those are
shared
examples
mailbox?
again. Well, those are some things that you'd need to comment out if you're going to actually run it. So even what it's providing here,
Yeah.
it's expecting us to have to edit it before we go.
Yeah.
And actually
we're
use
even
it.
sending like send receipt quota to 5
5
gig.
gig.
I never asked it to do that.
Yeah, it made some presumptions. Let's
Yeah.
try another one. Let's say change the administrative account on a local machine. Let's see how it does with something more simple.
Okay, well, so far it's Andrew 1, Gemini 0.
Yeah, Andrew already won. But you know what? This might be our mistake. We didn't give it any context. We didn't say we don't have any modules set up, so maybe that was our bad.
Okay, so I didn't tell it to change the password. I just said change the admin account. So I gave it a very bland prompt,
Okay.
right? And it's just going to tell me how to do it. So let's like ask it to script it, right?
Okay.
To change the password. Whew. I think I spelled everything mostly right.
Import module Active
Okay,
Directory.
so kind of probably the same critiques here, right, Andrew?
Yeah. So reading the password, interactive again, grabs all the computers. The other stuff looks okay. At the last available moment, it creates the password, and then it sets it. And if you can scroll down just a little bit, yeah, it looks pretty all right.
It's
I give it a 7.5 and 8. Not too bad.
yeah.
So Mike wants us to post the same prompt in ChatGPT and see how they compare.
Oh man, now I got to find the right tab. Where are we, guys?
I know we have so many.
Ha. Nope.
No,
This
you don't
one.
want that. You
It's a
want
new
this one?
window.
This is the one I want right here.
Okay, you want to use yours?
But I'm
Okay.
gonna clear this, right?
It's got to be exact though.
What the?
I don't know where'd that come
Control
from.
Shift V maybe.
Yeah.
Got the emojis on point, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Okay, there we go. I copied too much stuff. All right, so this is just GPT-4 now without my pirate prompt. Oh, it doesn't have a very pretty.
This one's messier.
Yep. All right, so it looks
pretty similar.
Yep.
Oh, no. New password in plain text. Whoa. Scroll up just a little bit.
right here.
New password.
New secure password
probably don't
123. So technically, this
Don't
probably
want that.
runs. It probably runs, right? It probably
yeah.
works. But you
Super well.
you don't know, like it's highlighting the like you don't know what you don't know, right? That's the big thing here with all these.
So the takeaway is
can,
always run things through Andrew.
Yeah,
Well, I think we did bad prompting too, though. We
Yeah.
didn't do the best prompts.
but this is how most people are interacting with AI.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
So Andrew, how do you? Because like we've had this conversation. How would you prompt this? How would you actually use this to get a better result?
Yeah, well, what should we say, Andrew? Let's prompt.
Well,
let's be
there are
Andrew.
ways. If you know what you're trying to do, you need to spell out as much context of what you're trying to have happen, even adding things like in a secure manner, right? You can ask follow-up questions to say, are there better ways to do this? I think Gemini gives some suggestions. Whenever I'm writing PowerShell, because I have a good working base, I'm able to use a script like that and basically just reuse the simple bits, the way that it loops, the way that it queries the computers. And then whenever it comes to getting parameters in, whenever it comes to actually the code that runs the command, I will look at that and make sure it's appropriate, make sure that they're following some best practices. And there's nothing like plain text passwords, which we want to avoid. Although it works, not a good practice. Let's curb that out of our habits early in our IT careers so it does not bite us in the back.
Yep.
So what do you think about what I just said about PowerShell? First, it told me group policy, so I kind of like that because I asked it for its suggestions.
Yeah,
I didn't read. I was in the middle.
it still does like silly stuff. Like it uses get WMI object. Like, yeah, does it work? Should you use get same instance instead? Yes. So it, like Andrew said, like give it the most context you can. Like, hey, like I have these variables already set up. I want to use these commandlets. I want to do this. It's also helpful if you have a bit of code that you don't understand what it's doing. That's my preferred way of using it. Hey, what is this doing? Rather than you asking it to generate something.
Yeah, I'm having this issue. Help me with it. Yeah. New Discord channel, Andrew versus the AI. Andrew, I love it.
I love it. All right, so
I will say my best tip
Yes.
before you go on, Josh, is if you are dealing with this type of stuff, join the PDQ Discord, discord.gg/PDQ. Post your question in the PowerShell scripting channel. There's a lot of people advanced in there like me and people beyond my skill level who are very happy and collaborative, willing to help.
yeah, I think the Discord hive mind might beat AI. Probably not in speed, but in quality.
You know,
for
I think
sure.
we should keep playing with this and do some more cool things. Like let's do our own bot.
We probably should.
Do we have questions, Kelly? Did you say we do?
As a matter of fact. I'm a fan of trust but verify, especially when AI generated stuff. But how far do we need to take that? Should we research every line of code? Do we need to fact check the full document? At what point is that more work than just doing it ourselves? Just Rob.
Oh man.
I think my take is watch those videos that we included because there's a lot of really good information in there as far as everything we covered. Take the time to do the training and learn everything we're talking about, the prompt engineering skills. We had a lot of stuff to prepare for this week, so we obviously didn't spend as much time as we needed to get it perfect. I think if we did, we would have had a lot better results in getting our queries. So in my opinion, spend the time to get it correct, and you don't need to be as...
Yeah, for me, it comes on like risk, right? Like what's the risk of running this code if I don't understand every line? What's the worst thing that could happen?
We'll do it on one machine.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the risk of not understanding this document? What's the risk of having it write this email if it doesn't say exactly the right thing? And that's when it's probably time to read line by line. So it's like evaluate the risk. If it's a low risk, high reward, send it. That's my take.
I'd say if you're
That's
reading
you.
PowerShell, if that's the context you're looking at, look for everything that does all the commands that don't start with get. Everything that doesn't start with get, you can look that up and see exactly what am I changing? What am I setting?
Just everyone call Andrew, right? I mean, it's fine.
Just run it through Andrew.
run through Andrew.
Okay, next question. In your opinion, should company policies regarding AI be extremely restrictive, at least at first, or should they be more like guidelines for how to use AI in the workplace? Maria S.
Josh.
I think they should be restrictive. And here's why. I think it's restrictive in these are the tool sets that we use, but don't make it restrictive to use the tools. So use the tools because your users are going to find a way to do it regardless if it's allowed or not. So if you're just a roadblock in place with the restrictive policy, you can't, I promise you that data is going to leave somewhere else and you're just not going to know about it. So make a policy and then enable people to follow that policy. If you don't, you're just going to have data flying everywhere.
Good call. Good call. Next question. Will poor users like me ever be able to compete with OpenAI and their massive computer data centers? Or will my homegrown AI implements always hallucinate? I.e., how important is hardware? Mark, go.
No idea. I haven't dove into like the actual hardware side of running this stuff, so I have no idea.
I don't think you should try to compete. I think you should befriend them.
I don't know. Hot take, NVIDIA
with
stock
them.
is through the roof, so I guess
Yes.
it's probably not cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would imagine. All right, we have a couple more questions. One from Marcel. How do you identify hallucinations in answers on themes you are not familiar with?
That's a very good question. I think feed them into one another. No,
Yeah.
That's a good starting point. I did that a lot this week to see
Yeah.
which one would say what. And then, like you said, try to machine that it's okay if you break it.
Here's a corollary, right? How many times do you Google something and you know how you get the first hit result? Do you just go with it?
No.
Same thing with AI. Like if you ask it a query, get a result, go compare it against another result, either another AI, or just do a traditional Google search and find a cited source.
Yeah.
Like, do they line up enough or is it hallucinating?
Well, you start with something that you know.
Yeah.
And see if it's going to lie to you, and then move on, gain the trust. And then, like we said before, these are large language models. You're training it as you go. You're learning to trust it as you go, I think.
Yep.
All right, two more questions. We got another one sneak in. We want to experiment with an in-house large language model. Are there any LLMs that you guys would recommend looking at? Obviously, our main concern is company data. Thanks in advance, Douglas W.
Well, you use ChatGPT.
Yeah, Douglas, the way that we attacked this problem is we picked a public model that had a plan that we could look at the terms of use and EULA
Security.
and pay the subscription model to have our data. So that's the route we went. So I couldn't suggest an in-house, here's how to go run this thing. I don't have enough knowledge in that area to answer.
And our final question today, is there an AI that you define strict parameters in your profile, like always use secure method or always give responses like pirate so that every time you ask AI a question, it follows it?
My understanding is you can do that for all of them, but just be careful because it will follow that to a T.
Yeah. So OpenAI, their API model allows you to set system messages and prompts and context. Just keep in mind your token size with those. If you're using just like if you just go to ChatGPT site or Gemini site, you have to prepend all of your messages with it because it doesn't allow you to do that. But the API, the purchase of OpenAI's GPT will let you do that. All righty. I think that's it for us, Tara.
It is. We gave a lot of information today. Hopefully some of it was useful.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Great.
All right. For PDQ, I'm Tara.
And I'm Josh.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Mark Go and Maria S., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your mailing info at webcast@pdq.com. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us your comments. And yes, we will add some additional links that Tara mentioned today in the YouTube description after the show. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you back here not next week, but the week after, July 11th, with John Hammond.
Okay.